Hi, I'm from InTimeWithMusic. We're about to list three interesting products I thought you guys might be interested in. So this is just a sample, a preview, let's call it that. I guess the main one that you can see behind me already is Eddie Van Halen. The late Eddie Van Halen, unfortunately, somehow though we all have to have a tribute to Eddie. I took this photograph in 1992. I was privileged to be invited to a private jam session. This was not a big concert, a big show or anything like that. This was simply a jam session hosted by Dee Snider of Twisted Sister at the time in Los Angeles. Eddie, rumors were he was going to show or he wasn't going to show. We didn't really know, but we were all kind of open, right? And sure enough, there he is, Eddie Van Halen. He showed up, and I got, I think, a fairly nice photograph for a tribute, especially because here he is with his pick in his mouth. He's not overdressed. He's just there jamming. He doesn't have his band. He's just playing. He brought his guitar. This is a PV Wolfgang custom guitar at the time that he had. He was playing through PV 5150 stacks. I'll show you this image first. This is a 12 by 12 that we're going to list in the store. It'll be sold without a frame. All of these frames were less than $20. I picked these up at Michael's. This is a floating frame, which I think is pretty cool because of the lighting with him. A floating frame is basically just a frame that the image is suspended between two pieces of glass. And if that is of any interest, you can actually backlight the picture. And there you have it. Eddie was just casually dressed in a shirt and some holey jeans. And there he is giving us all a lesson on his tapping technique that became legendary. So this 12 by 12 will be listed on my eBay store, InTimeWithMusic. These are just some other examples. This is also going to be listed in my store. This is a 12-inch wide by 16-inch high. It bears the date. It'll have the photographer's signature on the back, which would be yours truly. It'll also come with a certificate of authenticity and a backstory about what happened this night with Eddie. And in the back of this picture, you can see his 5150s are here. And once again, if you float it in a floating frame like this, you can backlight it and just make it come to life, as we'd all pleasure from seeing Eddie come to life. There you have it, beautiful. Beautiful Mr. Van Halen. Now, the certificate of authenticity is not going to be, originally it was going to be attached to the back, but we decided that would be a mistake because if it is attached to the back, then it shows up as a shadow. If you decided to put this in a shadow box or do it what I've done here with a floating frame, that certificate is going to be visible. So we scrapped that idea. This, by the way, is not available in the store. This is a 12 by 18. It will be if you want to make a request for larger prints. I'm happy to hear them. But for now, and for shipping purposes, we're going to keep it to a 16-inch high photograph. The certificate of authenticity, by the way, though, is self-adhesive that we're going to send you. And it has a short backstory of the photograph. It's signed by yours truly, the photographer. And because it's adhesive, you can attach it yourself if you decide to use a closed back frame. Like this particular one. This is, obviously a matted closed back frame. Beautiful. You don't really need the backlighting because of the backlighting that's already visible in the photo. Oh, I can't put this back up. That'll take too long. Okay, so for the second item, this is pretty cool. It won't look cool to non-musicians. This is just a piece of metal, but it's more than that. This is a sound plate produced by Walberg and Auge. This is an antique. It's over 100 years old. This came from the Pantages Theatre in Vancouver. There were two theaters built in Vancouver, British Columbia by the Pantages family. They were famous vaudeville theaters. They've both been torn down a long time ago. Stan Laurel was one of the performers there, and Charlie Chaplin was another performer there. This sound plate was a sound effect used by the drummers. Turn this light off here so I can bring this out. Or the percussionists, or the individual in charge of all of the theatrical sound effects. And I'm not sure if the theater was built in 1909, but I know that for the first 2 decades of the 1900s, the theater was in full production. It was very busy. It was beautiful. It's a total shame to see it gone. And the sound plate was one of the items that was used by the percussionist. And if anybody, if you're old enough to have attended the Ice Capades, it was very similar, where the orchestra sat in a sound pit, and they created the sounds that the clowns and the dancers and the skaters on the ice made. They did them acoustically up until the late 80s, when digital sounds came into production. So this sound plate would have recreated a church bell, or a fire bell, or a school bell in any theatrical event that took place at Pantages. Sometimes what the percussionist would do was he would suspend it on a spring like this and wind it up, because they may have wanted a sound that oscillated, and we didn't have oscillators then. Oh, I feel so old. There you have it. 100-year-old Walberg and Auge sound plate. And there will be a letter of authenticity included with this, and a comment by one of the greatest drum manufacturers who ever lived, Ray Ayotte from Ayotte Custom Drums, has a personal comment on this. This particular sound plate came from his store, Drums Only, before the Ayotte Drum Company evolved. Beautiful. I'm so proud to have this item. Now here's another one, the third item. I have to get rid of this. The third item that we're going to be listing, also in the percussion section where the sound plate is. This will be in the InTimeWithMusic Latin percussion section. This is, wait for it, a Jestick. It's not a tambourine, and it's not a clave, and it's not a whirl. It's a Jestick, because it was invented by a friend of mine, Jim Salmon. We call him Fish. He invented this in the early 80s. It was later commercially produced by the Colado Drum Company, but when it was commercially produced, it was made out of plastic. But this, I can't tell you what kind of wood this is, because I can't ship it if I do, but this is a really high quality hardwood. And this is oak. The frame of the Jestick was made of oak, and it has grooves to create a whirl sound. High quality silver type jingles, and we're going to give you a better example of what this would sound like and how it should be played later. When we list it, there will be a video on the InTimeWithMusic YouTube channel about this. So there you have it, the three items: Eddie, Walberg and Auge sound plate, and the Jim Salmon Jestick, the original one from 1985, along with an autographed letter from Jim Salmon will come with us. Hopefully that's a little bit of an enticement to watch for the best things to yet to come in the InTimeWithMusic eBay store. Thank you for watching.